Okay, hi. I am going to show you guys a recipe for brownie in a mug. I'm actually doing it in a bowl because I am increasing the recipe, because one thing I do have to say for this recipe is it's really not much that you get. Like, it's less than a portion. So I generally make more depending on how hungry I am, but just double or triple or whatever the recipe. So I just found it on Pinterest. That's what it looks like. For every 2 teaspoons, I'm going to do 1 tablespoon instead of what the recipe says. So I will go based off this, and you guys can work it out. I believe in you. Okay, it starts off with some flour, cocoa, and sugar. Now, it doesn't actually give instructions on when to mix it and how to mix it and which order to do it in, but this is how I like to do it. It's worked for me so far. It's up to you. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. Okay. I don't have a hair tie on me. And of course you want to sift flour. So then 1 tablespoon of cocoa. Then 2 tablespoons of sugar. Sugar, butter, flour. Now I personally like to mix it at this point. So this is what it looks like right now. And I'm just going to mix that. I also find, especially in a mug, that it's easier if you mix the dry ingredients first, just to sort of ensure that it's mixing before you add the wet stuff, which will make it harder. So now we're doing 1 tablespoon of oil, 1 tablespoon of water, according to the recipe. I like to add a little bit more of one or the other, just because I feel it's too dry otherwise, but that's 100% up to you guys. And then just a drop of vanilla essence. Now mix this delicious looking thing, and make sure you really mix it through and that you get the dry stuff from the bottom. Now try and flatten it out. And then I'm pretty sure the recipe says to pop it in the microwave for 40 seconds. I'm gonna put it in for 14 and see how long. Usually I add an extra 10 seconds after, but again, that's each up to their own. If I were you, I would probably put it in for 40, check it at 30, and then from there decide, because each microwave is different. I will be back in a moment. And in terms of the original recipe, I will also put that down below, but again, that's just what ingredients. It doesn't say anything about mixing and any of that, but I can promise you that this is a pretty good recipe, and it's milk-free and egg-free, so pretty sure it's vegan friendly. So I don't know if you can see that properly, but for me that needs a little bit longer because half of it is cooked, but not all of it. Now I sometimes like to throw chocolate chips on top. That's each to their own. Do it at the end. This is something I've learned after making many, another 10 seconds. Because the chocolate chips melt, but they're not mixed in as much with obviously flour or things, they melt and everything else cooks, and it just means it's bad. And also, don't mix it. Do not mix it. Something I've learned. If you look at my brownies in a mug recipe, you'll see that I mixed it and I'm like, is that right? It's not. Don't do that. I will leave that video also down below or here somewhere, I don't know. So this has now had an extra 30 seconds, so I think total of just over a minute. Okay, I still don't think it's fully cooked, but let's find out. That's what it looks like. I don't know if you can see. You probably can't see because of shadows and stuff, but it's good. One of the good things about this is that the flavor doesn't change. Sometimes the consistency will change a little bit or ever so slightly, but generally the flavor stays the same and the flavor's good and it's trustworthy, and it's hard to find mug cakes that you can trust. So I recommend this one. Bye!